Hello my fellow hunters, today we want to talk about the new Switch X's we got from Kushala Aura, all the Elder Dragons, and also new upgradable Switch X's. First of all, I equipped the Kushala Claire, the Damascus Mail and the Damascus Greaves. Kushala Armor and Damascus Armor is absolute awesome armor for handicraft skills, and you can see on my actual build, this is just for testing the new weapons. You can see equipped handicraft +5, so we can test whether the weapons can reach white sharpness. Okay, let's go to the smithy and let's forge some new weapons. Okay, let's have a look. We got a new Mitsutsune Switch X. We now can upgrade the Font Farewell 2 to the Parting Slice, and you can see there is a bunch of white sharpness waiting for us. So you can see we only need one level of handicraft to reach white sharpness with the Parting Slice, and we can play forever, for example, protective polish if you want with speed sharpening, or maybe 2 levels of handicraft and master's touch, but I think master's touch is better. Yes, but you need the Mitsutsune water orb. It's very hard to get, and yes, I'm not sure whether whether it's better than the Almutron X or not, but I think I have to test it because it has a really good affinity. You can see on the level 2 only 10% and now 15%, a good sharpness, and yes, we have different rampage skills, and I think the best is the attack boost because we have a power file, so I think water boost is maybe not the best way to use this weapon. Okay. One slot, pretty cool. Yes, I'm not sure whether the Almutron X is better or not, but both X's are looking very well. Okay, let's come on with the Wrath Blaze Splitter. We can now upgrade it to the Splitter X. Before update only we have the level 3 weapon, and now we can say okay, we can get a white sharpness with handicraft level 4, barely level 4, so we need a lot of handicraft. And the positive thing is we have a huge amount of true raw. Also the element is pretty good, we have 30 fire element and 2 slots, but again power file, and we need a Rathalos Ruby. I was a lucky guy and get 2 Rathalos Rubies and only killed 2 Rathalos until yet, and I think the best way to use this weapon is to use attack boost 3 or element exploit, so the monster's fire hit zone value must be 25 or higher. So I think the attack boost or element exploit is better. Yes, I think it's the best possible fire Switch X we can get. And I think it's maybe a new meta Switch X, I'm not sure. Okay, the Shaden 3 is a very good Dragon Switch X, but the bad thing is on the Dragon file you only got per hit 5 additional elemental attack, so all in all Dragon file is pretty useless. Elemental file is better than a Dragon file. Yes, because you got fixed damage with the Dragon file on the Switch X. Okay, let's go on to the Amber Hoarfrost. We can get white sharpness for the Amber Hoarfrost, and I personally think we have the attack boost 4 now, which gives us +10 attack. I think before only we have attack boost 3, and now we can get even more attack with this weapon. That's pretty cool. Attack boost 4, pretty strong. That means we get 200 attack. Yes, and I think it's better than the Kushala Aura Switch X. We need, I think, 2 or 3 levels of handicraft for unlocking white sharpness. Yes, and I think it's the meta Switch X. But let's have a look at the other Switch X's. Paralysis Switch X, I can spoil you, we got a much better Paralysis Switch X than the Kachal Switch X. So let's gonna wait a second. Okay, that's the absolute garbage Switch X from Todos. It's completely trash. It has a huge true raw, but that's the only good thing on the Switch X. It had no slots, bad affinity, bad sharpness. Yes, absolute trash Switch X. Yes, Rathian Switch X. I think it's not so good because you have any slots on this weapon, also no affinity, and yes, only increases damage to small monsters, so I think it's also garbage, this Switch X. Conquerors, okay, we can maybe reach white sharpness now with handicraft level 4, I think, but yes, a lot of users of subscribers or general of speedrunners using this weapon because of the Switch X is very viable because of the slots, and yes, you can KO, get monsters easy into drooling state and whatever. Now to the Faltrache Switch X. I saw a run with the Switch X. The Miraculous Vorticord is done with the Faltrache Switch X. I think it's not bad. I think it's better than the other Dragon Switch X. I actually don't know how good the Ibushi Switch X is, but we will see. So there's a world record with the Switch X. I think for Rathian it's pretty good choice. Also we have Dragon Boost, but yes, we have the only bad thing is we have Power Fire, and if we go for Element we have to yes, take care to use the Elemental Fire because I think it's better. Yes. With the Doombringer X, unfortunately, we can't reach white sharpness. So I think Mitsutsune Switch X is maybe now a little bit better. But I'm gonna test it out because we have a huge chunk of water elemental attack. And I showed you also in the build, we can reach 54 water attack, and now with the new Kushala armor set we can also increase our water damage output to additional 10%. I'm gonna show you at the end of the video. We will see how good the Doombringer X is now in comparison to the Mitsutsune Switch X. Now Gnashing Flambile, a lot of Engine F weapons like the Engine F bow is meta, and also the Engine F dual blades are meta, but I think yes, we can't reach white sharpness. I think the Rathalos Switch X is much better because of the better affinity and the better sharpness. Okay, I personally think Tigrex Switch X is maybe the new meta Switch X because we can reach white sharpness without any handicraft skills. You can see here's the handicraft bar, and yes, you have that angle behind the bar for the handicraft skill, and here is no angle or whatever, and yes, we don't need any handicraft, we don't have any slots, but I think yes, Beppo said the new meta LS is probably the Tigrex LS, and I also think yes, I think Rex Knasher is, I'm not sure whether it's better than the Conquerors. Let's give me a second. Where was the Conquerors? Yes, we can also reach white sharpness with Conquerors. Okay. Conquerors said, let's give me a second. 210. True raw, no 0% affinity. The Psychband boost, which is only gives you 10% Psychband damage increase. I think it's not really worth it. And yes, yeah, 3 little slots, 0% affinity, but we need handicraft. We need at least level 3 handicraft, and for the Tigrex 3 we don't need any handicraft. And we also have, yes, attack boost, attack +8. I think it's one of the best true raw weapons in the game you can actually use for Switch X. Now we come on with the what the hell's going on? I didn't expect that the Diablos Switch X is so broken. We only need 3 or 4 levels of handicraft. I never expected we could reach white sharpness with the Grand Chaos. And I didn't expect we get another Diablos 3 upgrade, because also the Lost stage was pretty good. Yes. Darling Strike. And Brutal Strike, okay. I think this weapon is pretty good with white sharpness, 240 true raw. I'm gonna test it maybe today. We need Teostra materials, so I think it's not hard to craft this weapon. I already crafted the Temper X Tyrannus 2, and yes, I think maybe that's the best raw Switch X. We can compare it with, yes, the good thing is Rex Knarsher, we don't need any handicraft, but we need Master's Touch, obviously, and yes, we need 3 or 4 level of handicraft. And we gonna compare, okay, how we can build this weapon, okay? I think Rex Knarsher and Krankers, that's gonna be very interesting. Yes, okay, well, we done. New best paralysis Switch X. We don't have any paralysis file, but I think, yes, 16 paralysis is extremely low. I don't recommend playing the Switch X with white sharpness, it doesn't make any sense. Let's have a look at the Rampage skill. Darling Strike, okay. Green sharpness doesn't make any sense. I would say attack boost level 4 makes more sense. Yes, but I would say this X isn't as good as well, because 16 paralysis is so low. I think it doesn't make so much sense. Oh, well, loot through it. Switch X, only rarity 5, okay, it's pretty trash. The Inaugural Switch X with white sharpness and the anti-aquatic species, which increase the damage to aquatic monsters. I think this is one of the best Thunder Switch X's in the game. Maybe it's better than the Rajang Switch X. Let's have a look whether we can upgrade the Rajang Switch X or not. But yes, 32 Thunder attack is a lot. No upgrade for Magnamalo Switch X, Rajang Switch X, no upgrade. So I would say when you have watched my speedrun weapon tier list video, I think Inaugural Switch X is the best. Thunder Switch X probably in the game. Rajang is meh, you can't reach white sharpness with handicraft level 5. Yes, Inaugural Switch X, white sharpness, so I think it's obviously Inaugural Switch X is better than the Rajang Switch X now after the update. Ibushi weapon. 200 attack, power file, dragon only elf. Okay, this Switch X is garbage. No slots, only 11 dragon attack and barely no white, barely only a tiny bit white sharpness. I think yes, this is a pretty trashy Switch X. Nova Switch X. Okay, we can reach white sharpness with this Switch X, and it also has an elemental file. I would say it's a pretty good Switch X. And yes, but I still think Xenogrow is better. Okay, Basil Goose Switch X. You need a lot of handicraft and also a lot of crit skills. I'm not sure whether this. I think I'm not sure. It has a power file, but it's hard to compensate it. Bad affinity and the bad sharpness. I think the Rex Knasher or the Diablos Switch X is still better. Now we come to the interesting part. Kushlada Aura tree. We have that special skill I showed you in the video, the Kushlada Aura Soul, that gives us additional 25% affinity when we are actually attacking a monster, and it also has a huge amount of ice attack. But I personally think But I think Barrier of Switch X is still better because it has 200 attack, 20 more true raw, elemental file, a level 2 slot and 30% affinity, so 5% more when you use the Rampage skill. Okay. Yes. I think Kushala is not as good as Barrios Switch X. Theostra Switch X. That is a blast-based weapon. I'm actually not sure how good the blast procs are, but yes, I think we need too much handicraft to reach white sharpness, and I don't think this Switch X is a meta Switch X. Yes, huge amount of blast attack, but we have Theostra Sword, it's pretty cool. Yes, a lot of blast blights, but it's hard to calculate the blast damage into the mathematically, because the procs are different depending on the monster, so it's hard to say how good this Switch X actually is. Camellia's Switch X. This Switch X is pretty good, I think. It has a good amount of slots, pretty good sharpness. I think we only need 2 levels of handicraft or so. And we have the Camellia's Soul. This is the RNG skill. We can have that's the only weapon which is able to have health regen, like you can see on the Camellia's Soul. We can maybe increase our attack after attacking, but the bad thing is it's RNG based skill. So yes, for speedruns it's a bad choice. Or you have to... yeah. I think it's not good for speedrunning, but it's good for fun to play. Yes, okay, let's have another look. Rampage weapon also got upgraded, yes. Okay, I don't want to go into deep for the Rampage slicer. Yes, Rampage wasn't meta until yet for Switch X, only for hunting horn and bow. So yes. Now to come to a conclusion, what's the best Switch X's in the game. I think Camellia's is pretty good. I like the Rampage skill, the Camellia's Soul, which is I think pretty fun to play. We got white sharpness, powerful. I think it's a very good raw weapon. Then I think for thunder attack, Inaugural Switch X is still the best. Yes. For blast, Theostra or Magnamolo, it's hard to say. I didn't play blast until yet. Also, there are no blast meta Switch X's until yet. Yes. This weapon is bad, will be done new upgrade. It has paralysis attack is still too low. Diablo's Switch X is absolute broken, 240 true raw with white sharpness, that is completely crazy. But I think also the Tigrex Switch X is pretty good. It also has a much better exhaust damage, yes, we will see. And the best fire Switch X I think is the new Rathalos Switch X. I think it is the Rathalos race. Rathalos Blaze Splitter Switch X. We can reach white sharpness, 30 fire attack, and also element exploit. Yes, and for the water Switch X, I think Misusune is better because we can reach white sharpness. We have water boost if you want to play, but I recommend for attack boost. Yes. Also 15% affinity, pretty good. I think that's maybe better than the Almudron X. And now I want to show you the new set skills. On the Kaiser armor, we have the Theostra Blessing, which gives you 10% additional fire attack. That's pretty cool for elemental. I think for the new Rathalos Switch X is pretty good. Then we have the Chameleos armor set skill with increase our poison duration. The Kushala set skill, which gives us additional water and ice attack plus 10%. So I think it fits very well with the Mizutsune Switch X. I think they're working absolutely great together. 10% additional water attack. And yes, they are the new set skills. See you next time. That was about Switch X. I hope the video wasn't too long.